Good morning. I am speaking to Tammy Ratcliff, a local Guelph artist that has her work at the Art Gallery of Guelph shop. And Tammy is a printmaker and a fiber artist. Is that correct, Tammy?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Would that be correct description of you?
Um, I think as I go on in my life, I encompass different things turn into sculpture, and things turn like they kind of go into different areas. So, like I'm an artist, but I do focus a lot of my work on printmaking and textile fiber art, but also sculpture now. So
Nice.
I don't know.
Diversity is a big thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And it's nice to be creative in many different ways.
Yeah, I used to be a printmaker and it was easy, but now it's just maybe just an artist.
Ah, well, not just an artist, you're a wonderful artist.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, thanks for speaking to us today. So, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about your process with these particular prints that we have up here on the wall. So, the first question I'd like to ask you is what first drew you to working with what they call washi papers? Maybe you could tell us what washi papers are to start with.
Washi are traditional Japanese papers, and in Japan they don't call it the paper you're holding washi, but it like the handmade papers, like the traditional fibers, Japanese fibers. And I was introduced to them. I'll try to make this brief, but like 35 years ago or so, and it was a teacher for printing, and because they're so fine, the grain of them is so fine, you can pick up more detail. So for an etching plate, like really fine scratches, it would show them more than a heavier surface or a cotton rag paper. And so from there I loved working with them, and then they have, some of them have a transparency, and so building layers came naturally, and
Beautiful.
I kind of got addicted to that look.
Yeah.
That feeling.
That feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you see your prints more rooted in a traditional, sort of more Japanese oriented washi? Or I know you also do Chine Colle, and we'll talk about that in a second. But do you find yourself working more in traditional ways, or are you trying to sort of push those traditions in different directions with your work?
I think I learned like the traditional ways of etching and printmaking, and then Chine Colle, and a lot of that is European traditions, as far as I know. And like only recently, where I became more, where I learned more about Japanese papers and the process. That's played more into my process. Like the materials have become part of my artwork.
Okay.
Like it informs my artwork a little bit.
Okay.
So what I can do with them, knowing how they're made and their strength, and also they're the cleanest materials. Like there's no garbage that they make. There's no waste or pollution that they make from the process.
Wow.
So it's just a really beautiful material to work with, and it feels really good for a number of reasons. The tradition is very old of hand making paper, and etching is really old, but yeah, I like to see where I can go with them now, like where we can take them. And I think etching, I think I'm moving a little bit away from etching. Just anything that's caustic, or I use environmentally friendly printmaking techniques, and the etching is ferric, and I'm trying to make the least problem for the earth, but it's still a bit. So I think techniques that are cleaner are inviting to me, and so they're helping me, or they're forcing me to change the way I draw or the way I work, because you get different effects or results.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So your sense of the environment is actually changing the nature of your work as you go, as you're using this medium.
Yeah, as I feel it's, it's not really in the background anymore. There's a sense of urgency, and so, it's about right now what I use. and things are available. Like I'm experimenting with Tetra Packs, like the boxes.
Yes. For juices and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can get really beautiful techniques with that, like dry point and
Wow.
just a knife. So and wood, of course,
Mhm.
like wood block or
Yeah, I can see this as a discussion for a future time.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm thinking quickly ahead. Could you describe the physical and creative changings in working with copper plates for the intaglio that you do?
Copper is really beautiful. It's really expensive. It does go up and down in price, but
Mhm.
it is the creation of it is extremely problematic. So I'm trying to move away from it. I have some copper to draw into it and to do a dry point without any etching or without any acid or ferric is a really wonderful process. It's very direct drawing into it,
Mm.
but I don't know how much copper there'll be in my future.
Mhm.
But it's soft, so you do get smaller additions when you do dry point on copper.
Okay.
It does change with the pressure of the press and the wiping.
I assume you need different tools and that kind of thing as well, right? Depending upon what it is that you're using.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Can you tell us a little bit about the Chine Colle?
Yeah.
It's a sort of a very similar to the washi, or am I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a European technique, as far as I know. I think what it probably did is it mimicked when, guessing Chinese, when people would do calligraphy on very fine papers, and to give them some longevity, though they do last in themselves for hundreds of years, they would paste them to silk so that they could display them and banners to make them more durable. And so this pasting of these very fine papers, the washi, to a heavier support, the European artists were taking things from Asia, and so I think it was, I don't know all of the history of it, but I know that Rembrandt, you can see his little etchings,
Mm-hmm.
were all on really fine handmade paper, washi, and then pasted to cotton rag papers.
Wow.
So it gives them a little bit more durability, I guess, a little bit of a heavier support, more
Mhm.
stable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in curatorial, like over time, it's also allowed conservators to preserve those tiny etchings, like take them off of the cotton rag paper and then clean them and then
Right.
put them on a new one,
Right.
because the European paper wouldn't hold up
Right.
as well as
The integrity of that. Yeah.
the Kozo paper or Gampi.
Right. Interesting. Wow, that's amazing.
So I think it's based tissue pasted.
Mhm.
This may be
Okay.
Chine Colle.
Chine Colle to
Yeah.
tissue pasted. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Do you, when you're doing the Chine Colle, then the process, do you approach it intuitively? Do you think about composing in advance? Because some of it does have integrity, but then the surface might be very fragile, and so what you're planning to do might not work depending upon, your process.
It appears fragile, but when you know how to handle them, they're
Mhm.
very strong,
Okay.
which is why they've been used for so
So
many
long.
centuries.
Mhm,
Right? They they have a real durability. So I do both. So I would plan, like if I did these two are etchings, and I knew I had my drawing, and then I etched a plate, and then I planned the Chine Colle, like the tissue is to the plate edge. So this is like a conservation Gampi. It's a 9-gram tissue, and it just lends some warmth and picks up more detail.
Mm-hmm.
So in these case, I knew I did an addition of 10. I did 10 of them.
Okay.
So that's my additions,
Uh-huh.
roughly. And then I would print a few to practice and to proof it and to see how it looked in a different color. And so sometimes you'll see mono prints like 1/1,
Mm-hmm.
where I've taken a few different layers or different images and put them together
Okay.
just to see, because there is the repetition of an edition,
Right.
like multiples for printmakers.
Right.
But then I like to see like, what if,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And so I can print them and have them aside to rebuild and, you know, do a different composition, a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's
Neat.
a little bit looser and yeah.
Right. So create something slightly different or
Mhm.
very much different than you initially started out with.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like I could combine the two images in a piece.
So it's almost like you can be spontaneous, and you can also you plan it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. How do you know when a layered print feels finished then?
That's the hardest question for anything, I think, with art, right? Like, is this the last brush stroke? Is this finished? Yeah, just when it feels right, it has that feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's not quite right, then maybe it needs another layer or another element added to it.
Mm-hmm. Or time, like your colored ones, right? Just set it aside for a little while and think, you know, oh, maybe I'd add a little color here or something like that, right? Interesting. Cool. If someone were new to printmaking, what would you want them to understand about this particular art form?
I had a good note for this one. Sorry, I'm not very concise. You can chop it up, but for a new printmaker, I think printmaking is, in a nutshell, it's a wonderful way for an artist to do multiples of things. So, you know, if you think you have this really wonderful drawing and be like, oh, am I gonna have one, just let go of one drawing? Or what if I'm able to make 10 of it? And then the price could be a little bit more affordable for people and so, or accessible. So the multiples, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, I think it's a very accessible medium where, like we were saying, you can make plates out of Tetra Pak, like boxes. You can make it out of like bits of scrap wood or cardboard. Yeah, I think it's easier. You don't need expensive equipment or, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I think we're seeing a lot more young people embrace it,
Mm-hmm.
using it for all kinds of wonderful things.
Right, because of the fact that you can use such a variety of bases to work on, to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're making patches and
Yeah.
posters and
Cool.
cards, stickers. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go? I so appreciate you sitting with us today.
No, this is fairly painless. Thank you. And it's just really, it looks really lovely in here. And I think when I talk to people, a lot of people aren't aware of this wonderful space and what's available. So, yeah, you should come see the art sales and rental space.
Thank you very much, and it's nice to have your beautiful work with us too, which is also on sale or for rent from the store. So thank you very much, Tammy.
Okay, thanks, Jillian.